Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including RWBY, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Hayley Nabuurs.
Hello.
And Andy Potter.
Hi.
More RWBY to get into, more RWBY Volume 6, Episode 2 this time, Uncovered, that premiered today on Rooster Teeth First. We'll be covering the Rooster Teeth First airings of RWBY Volume 6 every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com. Search for RWBY Overly Animated on iTunes or our YouTube, youtube.com/overlyanimated to subscribe to not miss any future RWBY podcasts. Make sure you check out our very long premiere Volume 6 podcast. Had a lot of fun getting into that pretty strong premiere episode of this season. And we're going to get into Uncovered now. Spoilers for this episode and all previous episodes of RWBY. But let's get into things. Hayley, what did you think of this week's episode?
Well, I was very happy with this week's episode because it wasn't just like a Jean, etc. episode, which was my fear. So immediately I was happy about that. It was short, but I'm pretty pleased with it overall because we got Cinder back, which I was not expecting to have her show up as she did until like at least a couple more episodes in, considering their track record, where we kind of go off on random plot lines that don't matter quite as much, in my opinion. So I was so happy to see her because we can just like get the ball rolling with that storyline. And we spent a lot of time with Team RWBY, and I was so happy that they're angry with Oz now because that's been a long time coming, honestly, and I was ready for them to start questioning him. So that was great. And we've got this new Jinn character, which was interesting. I don't know how I feel about her. But yeah, it was, at the end of it, I felt very like, not confused, but it felt very different from past seasons, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. So I like the people they focused on in this episode. So thumbs up for me overall.
Nice. Okay. I like that point. Different, not necessarily bad for RWBY considering the track record. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Good point there. Andy, what do you think of Uncovered?
Yeah, I was pretty high on this episode, just like Hayley. I watched it. I actually was enjoying the plot. Which is strange for this show. I was enjoying the team interactions, which I've really been missing. There were some great scenes, some great Freezer Brennan scenes, some great Bumblebee and White Rose stuff through this episode. That's always good. And we actually got to realizing Ozpin is bad, but not for hopefully just I could turn into a bird reasons, which is great. I think we're going to talk about the genie later, so I'll save that.
Who?
But
Who would you say?
Jinn. I'm sorry.
Oh, genies. Okay, no, she's a Jinn, not a genie. Excuse you. Yeah.
Sorry. But I was really high on this episode, Dylan, until I went on the subreddit and noticed that Cinder's story happens 2 weeks later, and that very much
Yeah, that's not a reason to be that upset with the episode. I think you're overreacting to it.
No, I have reasons, but I'll get to it later.
Okay.
I am very upset for reasons.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see what those are. I agree that this season is moving pretty fast compared to past seasons. Like, this is a surprisingly plot in-depth episode, and we're getting into things that we were hoping to get into 2 seasons from now. I feel like the history of Salem, what Ozpin's actually been doing. So it's very exciting that we're doing these things so soon, in quotes, in season 6. And I think this was another strong episode. So like kind of 2 for 2 this season so far with pretty good episodes of RWBY. And hot take, I think this is the best start to a season that we've ever had with this show, with the Volume 6 here in these 2 episodes. Just looking at the first 2 episodes of every season, compare them, I think this is probably the best first 2 episodes that we've gotten. So
I don't think that's a hot take.
No, I mean, and nothing. It's hard to have a hot take with quality in RWBY, right? Because but it's even Volume 2, my favorite one, didn't even start off that strongly, right? So this is very encouraging that we are going so hard so fast into stuff we care about. With the Team RWBY interactions continue to be fantastic. The worst parts of this episode are just when Ozpin's monologuing for several minutes at once. I don't care. Continue not to care. Whenever him or Crow are monologuing, just tune out. It's like,
I think
whatever.
Crow was pretty good this episode, though. I think I liked his.
Well, he didn't really monologue, so
Yeah,
it's,
no,
he's
that's why I
fine.
liked
it.
Yeah,
Stayed in
he's
the
fine.
background.
Yeah, it was very jarring how quickly Team RWBY turned on Ozpin and Crow, even. And it wasn't really a turning on; it was just like attempt. But it was very. We haven't really done the Ozpin is evil thing for a little bit, so this was like, wow, we're back into this. Like, okay, I mean, morally gray, not evil, but it was a big tonal shift, I think, compared to where we were, which is good because I don't think Ozpin has been a successful character recently. So this is good to dive back into more interesting things with him. And then Jinn. The first time I watched this episode, I was so weirded out by Jinn appearing, like this giant blue naked lady appearing, and I mean it's more normal than when you expect it to be coming, but I was like, what is happening? This is the stupidest, weirdest thing that's ever happened on the show. And I like that. I guess I like that something's happening. It was a very weird choice to go in this direction, so it's very jarring. But I guess I enjoyed it. I have a rant about it, which we'll get to later, but, it's, I don't, overall, and then the thing at the end that we get to is exciting. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. Didn't expect to be so in on volume 6, but, here we are. And, I feel like for me, the reason is because we have focused on Team RWBY so much, the first two episodes here.
And we have plot development happening.
Yeah, if you kind of plot here,
yeah,
at least we're learning about stuff that we should know about.
And the intro makes a lot more sense now because most of the stuff in the intro is in these first 2 episodes. I was really confused why we were seeing so much that was in the future of the season, but it's really not. I still have no idea where the season's going to go now, which is good for RWBY, but it could still just go nowhere for 10 episodes like it has before.
Yeah, so we saw the thing we didn't know about the intro after last week. The only thing was who was the blonde lady, and it turns out to be Salem, as was speculated. Yeah, so it is young Salem here, as we're getting into with Jinn narrating at the end, which I think is very exciting, getting the history of Salem and Ozpin. In the intro, we see Salem looking up at presumably is a previous Ozpin incarnation statue. So we have not seen that yet. That would seem to indicate they didn't like grow up together, since it would be multiple incarnations past since Salem was there.
Or what I'm thinking is it could be that incarnation is the first one and he's already like a hero or something. Like he's a lauded figure, the first one, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring is happening. Or maybe not, though, because if he's like an ancient being, then he would have been around way before that.
Yeah.
We got the impression they're both like
pretty old.
the first people in existence or something. So it's interesting to see what we'll see with them. But we just saw that she was a lonely tower sheltered a lonely girl named Salem. That's all we have so far. So she's in some tower. And Hayley, what was your reaction to seeing that was Salem at the end?
I was happy. I wasn't really surprised. Because I think out of all the kind of speculation about who that was in the opening, Salem made the most sense to me. I was just so excited that we were already getting into that because I was expecting that to be way later. So that's awesome. I think it's going to be really interesting, especially because a little earlier in the scene, Ozpin had said something about how the relic is attracting Grimm, possibly partially because of their origin, and they kind of just brushed past that, but I think that may have been hinting at something that maybe we'll learn about in this, I don't know, relating to the relics. I'm just excited. I really hope that the next episode does pick right up from where we are, because if we have a filler-ish kind of episode in between, that would really bug me.
We're going to Jean.
Episode 3 opens with John and John solo episode.
If they do that,
and then we see Tyrion, and then
well, Tyrion's not terrible, but like I just want.
Oh, he's not terrible.
Oh, he's not. Okay, interesting.
He's not terrible. I'd rather see like Tyrion and them than a Jean.
Oh,
episode.
definitely. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If it's John or Tyrion, obviously you think.
Exactly. But I think, I think it was really neat. We didn't really get anything about it yet, but it got me very hyped for the next episode.
Nice.
Which is, I guess, good at the end of this episode.
Yeah, not too. Sometimes not too hype for next week in RWBY, but this is definitely leading a good cliffhanger here. It's a good point about one of the nonsense things Ozpin was monologuing about being like the origin, but it's relevant because Salem we've speculated is like the queen of the Grimm. Yeah, so if she created Grimm, then that would make sense that if she's connected to the relic, I mean, makes sense in quotes. Like, no, it doesn't make sense, but whatever. There's some sort of connection. Salem, relics, Grimm. Maybe there's something there. Yeah. Okay. Andy, what do you think of seeing Salem at the end?
I was just excited because we need to understand Salem a little more to have any type of emotions toward her. Because right now she's just nobody. I don't care about Salem. And the fact that we're getting something for her, some kind of motivation, some kind of connection to the actual plot for her makes me really excited. And because it's happening early in the season, it gives me hope that this whole season is going to be about what Salem's plans are. Like, we're going to actually be pushing towards what Salem wants and her goals, and I'm really excited for that, to have some kind of driving force behind the plot more consistently.
Yeah, if they accelerated the timeline on giving us what Salem's about, or I don't know if this was the plan or if this was faster, because it seems faster than it was a good decision, because Salem is nothing right now, and learning about her origins is a good idea, especially if she was like human and she like gets some sympathy and yeah, I mean, she seems like she was like human. How did she transform into Grim Queen? Like, we will see. That's going to be good. But yeah, that scene at the end is very exciting. The other big scene, the reveal of Jinn.
I thought you were going to say Cinder being alive. I was expecting you to
I guess that's a big scene. We knew that was the opening spoiled that for us though. So it doesn't. Yeah, Hayley, did you have a strong reaction like I did to seeing Jinn come out of the lamp?
Yeah, my main reaction, I guess two reactions. First reaction is it's very random and was not at all in any sense what I was going to be predicting was going to happen with these relics. I wasn't expecting them to be like genie lamps, I guess. So that was crazy. I was also really annoyed at how insanely hypersexualized she was. Like, it was so over the top and just was so uncomfortable, kind of. Yeah. So I think she seems like she's going to be an interesting character if she is a character, because we have two questions, right? So she may explain this bit to us and then disappear for a while and show up again. I don't think she's going to be hanging around very much. But yeah, it made me quite uncomfortable, her design.
You don't think she's going to be like floating around the whole show, like on her journey with them? Not,
because that would be a weird tonal shift.
I guess time has stopped when she's out, so she can't be out the whole time. Mm-hmm. That's what it seemed like. Yeah. Okay.
I don't think she's going to be like a companion of all of them. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, since Hayley brought it up, the rant of the week is exactly what Hayley said. There's not too much to get into more, but why is she naked? What's the purpose?
She's so naked. They put a little belt on her to be like, oh, she's not totally naked. She's wearing like a little belt. I'm like,
giant naked blue titty lady. Like,
yeah.
Why?
I wrote down Jinn the busty genie. That was my note about her.
What's the purpose of her being naked?
I know.
Is this a mature show now? Like, just because you don't show the actual nipple, like this is allowed? Like, why?
It was so over the top. It was so overdone.
That's. I mean, I guess she's naked just because of like similar arcs or archetypes in the past with like genies. Like, this is a thing. Like having I guess even like Zelda, I guess, and like the other anime and stuff. Yeah, like, but just what? No, it's so stupid. She's
put some floaty like fabric or something, and also like just how they were angling the camera and everything. It was so obvious that was like the focus of her character, kind of, and it was really frustrating and ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, okay, that's it. That's all I got for that. It's more just like, why is she naked? I just don't understand. The only upside is that we get to see each Team RWBY reacting to her being naked, though. That's the only benefit. And they seem to be it's a bit ambiguous reactions, but they were at least had a big reaction to seeing her. Yeah. Very gay reactions, I don't know, but
but also we saw all of Team RWBY and then Crow's reaction.
Crow's being very bashful, like, oh, I shouldn't be looking at this naked woman. Like, don't make her naked, then you don't have to not look at her. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Okay. Andy, what was your reaction to seeing Jinn?
So I think my reaction was a lot more muted because I've been on like an anime binger lately, and I just saw it happen, and it's just like, okay, I guess this is happening now, and I kind of just rolled with the punch, and I was like, she's naked. That's not good, but also, I guess it's happening. And then later, I realized, wait a minute, why is she naked? Because that doesn't make any sense. And then it was over. And so maybe next week it'll hit me a little harder that she's naked. Because I would feel like she's going to show up next week.
Maybe she'll get some clothes before next week.
No, she definitely won't.
Oh, she won't? Okay.
No.
Oh.
No, she definitely will not get... Oh, maybe she'll get clothes when they summon her the next time. Also, this is definitely setting up a 3-beat where we're going to see all 3 questions, and the third one's going to be something really dark and bad.
Yeah, so this is... apparently one question had already been asked, which I think... is ripe flashback material. Like, what did Ozpin ask her last time? Yeah.
And the question is whether we're going to see the Ozpin's flashback question before we see the third question asked. I don't know which one we're going to see
Third
first.
question seems like a season finale thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'd guess. And I'm guessing it's going to be by a villain. It's going to be like Cinder or somebody asking where the maidens are or something like that.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that would have also been a good question, where are the maidens? You know, not to criticize RWBY. I wouldn't even. What's Ozpin hiding? It's a very broad question, too. I feel like you want to be. She could really give you any answer here.
Yeah. RWBY got really lucky that Jinn is the type of genie that's like, okay,
I'll interpret this.
Just everything.
Yeah, like, I'll interpret what you're asking me and actually be nice.
Is she going to show us everything that Ozpin is hiding, or just this one thing, just the most important thing that he's hiding?
I think the main thing that Oscar was like, he's hiding and couldn't get it out.
I guess she picked up on context clues, and she knew, like, this is the thing that we're... You can't just ask the magic genie a very broad question. I feel like that
never goes well.
Yeah.
Like, the genie could have easily just showed, like, he's hiding something behind his back right this second.
Yeah, well, exactly. What if it's something in his pocket? So okay. You can ask. It's the relic of knowledge. We learned that you can ask it 3 questions every 100 years, and
no explanation of where we're at in the 100 years, because maybe we're like at year 98.
Yeah.
Well, she said it was this era, so I assume that the 100 years were passed like a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I didn't.
That's what my assumption is. I don't think it really.
That's what it's implied, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's unless we. I guess since the show is 15 years long, we might actually be relevant. But we've the hidden Ozpin was hiding that he says all of the questions are used up. They weren't used up, and then Oscar takes over. Yeah, but so just this concept of the relic of knowledge answering questions. It has a genie in it. Hayley, you seem to be implying that you thought that all the relics would have jinns in them based on.
No.
Oh, okay. No, I've seen people online say that.
No, but like maybe they will now, because who knows? I think it would be strange if this one did and none of the others did. Right.
Yes.
It also makes sense because, since we had no explanation about what these relics are, for a while it was like, I guess if you are holding the relic of knowledge, you know everything. But this, I guess, makes more sense, but not really.
It makes more sense for a plot. It doesn't make more sense in general. Yeah,
exactly. Like I guess I prefer the magical genies to it just giving you these powers. Yeah. So I would
answer the questions without being a magical genie.
Pardon?
Couldn't it just answer the questions without being a magical genie?
A lamp could talk. Would that be less absurd than giant blue titty lady in there? Like, I feel like if the lamp just talked to us. I don't think that all the relics will have genies, because I think that it is a lamp associated thing. There's a genie in a lamp. That's why this one has a genie inside it. I think the others aren't going to be lamps, so I don't think that they all have them.
I think they are.
No, isn't we thought Ozpin's cane was a relic.
But
right?
we didn't know what any of them look like to start off with.
Are they really all going to be lamps? Because that would be stupid.
They're all going to be lamps.
I'm assuming they're not all lamps, and that that they won't have genies in them.
It's such a specific design. It isn't just like, a rock and it's sneaky because you don't know what it is. Like, it is a relic. Like, it's designed to be that way. So I'd see, like, it's not designed to be unnoticeable, you know? So I'd assume all the other ones are going to be like that. They're going to be very obviously what they are. And that might be a lamp.
I'm confused why these things are even called relics, because the only people that know about them are people like Ozpin, right? But they're clearly not.
In this flashback, will we learn about that?
But I mean, like, they're clearly not relics. They're like lamp holes. They're like
they're magic items. They're not. They're not naturally born things out of the earth.
No.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like a relic from some place that we're going to see in this flashback.
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
Are we gonna see Jinn in the flashback? I hope not.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's about Salem and her pet titty lady Jinn.
God.
That's what it's. No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's will we get into the relics and stuff? And unclear.
Or even like the creation of the maidens, or is the flashback just going to be about Oz and Salem?
Yeah. I guess the base level would be their like tumultuous relationship or something. Were they together? Like, is that a thing? Were they like former lovers? That's in play. Although the statue thing throws me off. That makes me think they're not from the same time. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
I hope this reveal is actually that Ozpin is evil, because I'm kind of done with people being like Ozpin's evil and we see stuff and it's not really that bad.
Okay, so that's a good point. So, like I said before, there's a pretty big tonal shift with Ozpin, who we've gotten into the morally ambiguous stuff before, but he's clearly on our side. He's kind of the all-time force of good, like from the beginnings of time. So, I think we were still under that assumption that he was like, this like eternal force of good in the world. And, does this episode change that? Like, he's had like, it seems weird that this was the straw, like, he lied about the wishes being used up. He lied about attracting Grimm. Like, this is what sets us against Ozpin, whereas he lied about other things before. Like, that was weird to me. That, this is like what gets us to really turn on Ozpin. That makes me think it's not a permanent thing. It was just like, involving the relic here.
I think this makes sense, actually, because Team RWBY has just been attacked by Grimm. They were on a train. They got knocked off a train. They were in a train wreck, and they're in the middle of nowhere all of a sudden. And they find out that part of the reason that happened is because Ozpin lied. I think their reaction is actually pretty reasonable, and I think that this could be a real thing for once. And if it isn't, I'm going to be very frustrated.
So I think it's a reasonable reaction, but I also think every single other time previously with Ozpin would have also been reasonable, and we did.
Well, I guess.
But Oscar hasn't like done what he's done.
Yeah, that was that was different. There's Oscar being super dramatic here. Yeah.
So he's clearly showing to them that there's more that he's not telling them, that at least Oscar thinks they should be knowing.
Or at the very least, there's more that Ozpin can. Like, Ozpin has been pretending to be like, oh, I'll let Oscar take control of the body, but clearly Ozpin can just do what he wants, and Oscar doesn't really have control of it. And that's definitely a very different dynamic than we thought was going on, and that feels very much really problematic in the way that Dylan has been saying for the past season, and it's really. I don't like it. I don't like the 1,000.
I'm ready for Oz to just officially be evil, because he drives me nuts where he's like, I'm like the personification of goodness and stuff. And it's like, no, you're a jerk. Like, can you not, please?
Who's into little boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
literally in. No, he's not into.
Sorry. He's literally in Little Boys.
Yeah. No, he is right now. That's factual. Oscar was able to like resist him taking control to a certain extent, but Ozpin also seems to be able to force control at this point. I still don't care about that whatever. It's too weird and stupid. But Oscar was reacting very strongly here. It was very dramatic, very like big music, big drama, just like slow takes. Definitely like more of an end of season thing. So it felt jarring / exciting for an episode 2 here. But I hope, I think considering how big everything was here, that we need to have some sort of ramification with Ozpin. I'm not expecting him, like, this flashback to reveal that Ozpin was the evil one all along. Maybe it's like Ozpin set into motion the events that made Salem evil, and he's been regretting it ever since. That'd be pretty tame, but.
Yeah.
You know, Ozpin's suddenly going to be the bad guy? I'm skeptical.
I'm kind of hoping that we show at least that he's morally gray, because the thing is, a lot of the stuff he's done has been pretty self-serving, it seems like, and I kind of want confirmation for that, but I kind of on your side here that I think it's just going to be something he's still good, but oh no, he made a mistake. It's like, that doesn't really match the reactions I've been seeing in the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that he's still good in the sense that he, like, isn't, I guess, in league with Grimm, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in this flashback. But I think it's going to make it so that they don't just treat everything he says as the truth and like, oh, we'll do whatever he wants us to do because he's the, I guess, leader of this little band of people for some reason, which is good because that's been very frustrating because he's not giving them any answers and they're just like, okay, fine, whatever Ozpin says.
And that's great because that moves us closer to RWBY actually controlling the plot, which hasn't happened in forever. Like, if if this is true and we get to the point where Ozpin and Crow don't have full like knowledge or they don't have full trust of the team, like they could just go off and do stuff. RWBY still has the relic right now. They could just go off without them at some point. Would be amazing. That would just be great.
Yeah, I'm in favor of ditching Ozpin, Oscar, and Crow. Also surprising is that we turn on Crow here. Like they literally put their weapons on him.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I think Crow is moving to be like, hey, let's calm down, and they're like, no, we're not calming down now.
Yeah, well, Crow is Ozpin accomplice, so I think that makes sense. That
the way the shots, but the way everything was being shot, it looked like Crow was with them, like he was across from Ozpin while the conversations were happening, and it felt like
it's not like he said like, "Oh, don't hurt Oz," like listen to him.
I mean, the implication is that he knew about this, that RWBY. The implication is that Team RWBY thought that he knew about this. I'm not sure that he did in reality.
No.
Yeah, and also he after they pull their weapons on him, he says he was like, I was just gonna say do whatever you want. So he seems like he'll side with Team RWBY over Ozpin. Although should be noted, Crow's entire character is kind of based in him being Ozpin's right hand man or like a subordinate or something. Like that's kind of his origins in the show.
But so I do believe that he would side with RWBY before Ozpin. Honestly, I believe that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I agree.
I don't think if they were like, well, let's kill Ozpin. I don't think he'd do that, though.
I don't think he would. I think he would keep Ozpin from killing RWBY, though. Like,
yeah. We've clearly established that he's emotionally connected to RWBY and all of Team RWBY. But we've also kept him closely aligned with Ozpin the entire time. So that
maybe what we see in this flashback thing will kind of change his allegiance.
Yeah, maybe he's like, why were you hiding this from me? Yeah. Because it should be noted, Crow was specifically shown in the flashback as well, or in the fantasy sequence. He was there, so yeah.
Yeah. He's getting to learn all this stuff, too, so that's going to be interesting.
And he'd probably be the one to feel the most, betrayed, I guess, by him, if he doesn't know, because he's been around him so much longer.
Yeah, I think so. I think if anyone's going to be, like, super betrayed, it would be... although RWBY also is very, very betrayed by Ozpin. Just back to the flashback. I want to point out how gorgeous it looked to me. The going from the white space into like the drawing of the tower on there. That was, I think, one of the visually best things the show's ever done. Also, just the sound design throughout the episode was wonderful here, especially, and just getting into the seeing Salem and everything there, I think was really fantastic. The
also, they all called out their ships.
So, yes, they call out their teammates.
Quote unquote.
Yes, as when they're there, that was great. In the white space or whatever, that was a really distinct visual too. When Ozpin goes charging at RWBY, and then they like go into the white background. I think that was really cool. The Jinn also really well animated. With their design.
Yeah. Design has flaws, but the animation's really good.
Yeah. And everything, like the snowy background, everything in there, I think was really fantastic. Jinn, by the way, says she's the being created by the god of light to aid humanity in the pursuit of knowledge. I'm going back to these gods, I guess. So I guess was it just a fairy tale before that we'd heard about them?
I think so, yeah.
So this is, I guess, tangible evidence in the existence of gods.
But the one, when Cinder got out of this rock thing that she was in, at the base of the place, whatever, that lady wandered onto her and said, "Oh, gods." So
well, that's
it's a thing.
They believe in them, But having the people in the world having religion and the gods being a tangible part of the mythology of the show, I think are different things. And I think that we're getting into that latter thing because the Jinn says, literally, and this is clearly a thing that exists in front of us.
That being said, I'm fine with the gods having influence on things in the present. I hope we don't actually have them be characters in this flashback. I think once you add gods, it gets a little bit. It's very difficult to write that well. I think because where did they go? Did they die? I like if they're more just distant past type plot elements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't expect them to really go beyond just hearing that they created things in the past.
I like that.
That's fine. Still with 2 questions left. Jinn also says, "Pleasure to see you again, old man." To Ozpin. So they have some history there.
No, I think she was just saying because he asked her a question 2 weeks ago, and she knew about that.
What do you mean? Why? What makes you say 2 weeks ago?
Well, or I'm saying sometime in the 2 weeks, he asked her a question because she had 2 questions left.
I think it could have been any time within the past X years that that question
my understanding was that they took the relic out of there. Ozpin took it somewhere, asked a question, then came back to the group.
I don't think the questions reset because it was in its holding cell. I think that, or at least there's no reason to believe that. Ozpin previously said that there were no questions left. He was lying. It's revealed that there are 2 questions left. We don't know anything more than that. So,
but that's how Oscar knew the genie's name, because Ozpin went to ask a question, saw how he summoned the genie.
I mean, I guess that's possible.
Or he knew from before.
Also, Oscar just might know Oz's memories. Yeah. Maybe Ozpin.
Yeah. This is all
what's the relationship with Oscar knowing things? I think it's reasonable to say Oscar probably just knows Ozpin's memories and says, or his thoughts. Like, actually, let me amend that. Just Oscar's access to Ozpin's thoughts. So Ozpin was thinking like, okay, in order to activate, they would have to say Jinn and don't do that. So now Ozpin and Oscar took over to force that.
Well, I am staking my flag and saying that Ozpin definitely asked a question in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to see it in a flashback.
I would take that bet. I definitely don't think he asked a question in the last 2 weeks. I think it would be sometime well before that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so let us know whose side you're on here. Well, really, there's no way of knowing because we're being very vague with this. So there's no right or wrong. Yes, that's it from that scene. Well, then going back to the scene when Jinn comes out of the lamp. We also had Maria Calavera. We say her name in the show for the first time, and she's blind. She is blind. Maz Katara. She is blind, so we know that, and that's basically all she does. So there you go.
I did. Before we move past the snow section, I really did like when all the snow froze. It really gave me vibes of that the scene from Avatar when Katara freezes the rain. It's like it was just really striking, just everything freezing and them all just going like, whoa. Like, I've definitely, for the first time in the show, I've definitely felt there's a difference between what the characters do and, like, actual magic. Like, it actually felt like this was a magical thing happening, and they've struggled with that in the past, I think, because they all have magic already, but this is different, it feels like.
But magic is not that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was a really striking visual. I think it was really cool. I'd like to know why time froze, but yeah, it was really cool to look at. Also in this, we talked about this. Ozpin says he's keeping things for their benefit, and because people had betrayed him in the past that were supposed to be his allies. So like we're given time for Ozpin to explain himself, basically why he's hiding things. I didn't really like this dialogue, but I guess if this character is going to be on screen so much, then we should say things like this. I think that makes sense. And then Oscar takes over and says he's hiding things. Very striking sequence there. Okay. Well, last thing I want to do with Jinn is, as suggested by Andy, I've criticized RWBY because, maybe not the best, question to ask Jinn. So what questions would we like to ask Jinn?
Oh, no.
About, so we have 3 questions. So we have 1 question each to ask Jinn. What's our question? What would you like to know about the show? Any mythology in the show? It could be from the point of view of the characters or our point of view. What would our question be for Jinn? Andy, you can start. It was your idea here.
Okay. If I was a character in RWBY, I would definitely, if I was on this team, I would just point blank turn to the Jinn and just say, "Where are all the maidens? I'd like to know where they are right now."
That's a straightforward one. Yeah.
Yeah. But if I'm a viewer, I definitely just want to ask the Jinn, like, "Hey, what is aura?" And have her give this like.
No, you took mine. What is aura? That was mine. What are yes, I agree. What are these auras that keep coming up? Okay, well that would be a good one. Where are the maidens? Hayley, do you have a question?
Yeah, I guess something about like what are the gray eyes all about?
Silver eyes. That's another.
Silver eyes.
You think RWBY? You think that would be top of mind for RWBY, right? If she's
You're right. Yeah, she's kind of forgotten about that. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think about from my own not in show perspective. Maybe something about like who's gonna end up with who, I guess.
I don't think it can't tell the future though.
Will Bumblebee be canon? Yeah, can't tell the future. Well, Bumblebee be canon. Yeah. Okay.
No, but in her position, yeah, in her position, I would ask about like, hey, what's up with these superpowers I have? Because that would be something I would like to know if I was RWBY.
Yeah. Okay. This brought a good thought into my mind. RWBY should have asked, if I'm RWBY, I'm asking, does Weiss like me as more than a friend? Let's write that fanfic. Get that fanfic going. Okay, that'd be great. The question I most want to ask is, Jinn, why was Volume 4 so bad? Please answer to me. Also,
Can you explain the
why isn't this show
traveling?
better? Yeah, these are the things I'd like to know about. Or auras, maidens, Salem would be one of the top things I'd like to learn about. So
I'm happy with
good.
what she asked about. Given that Jinn interpreted it the way she did.
Yes, no, I'm not happy with what RWBY asked. I'm happy that it turned out this way.
The end result is good.
Jinn, why did we have to exile Sun and Ilya for this season? Why did it? Can we get them? Can we just get them back here, or can we grant those? Jinn, why is John still in our group? What's he doing here? Like, can you remind me what his purpose is? Yeah,
Jinn,
I'd like
who
to
is
ask
gay?
that.
Just ask her.
Who is not straight in this group? Please tell me.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very useful information for
No.
me. So.
In the entire world, tell me everyone in the world who's not.
I think right. Can't you just ask who list every member of the White Fang for me? Like, can't you just?
No,
Yeah,
because
that'd be
she brings you into a time stop weird zone, so she can tell you anything as long as you just are ready to ask the question.
You could ask about Penny.
Oh yeah,
Penny's will Penny be back? Yeah,
you could ask about Tyrion's tail. Where are they building?
What tail did
That'd be top of the list on your list, Andy.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Jinn, is that dragon Grim still in our school? I guess we can't see that, so that'd be nice to know if that thing's still there.
Yeah.
Is Cinder actually dead?
Yeah, we saw Cinder. I basically assume she's dead, but yeah, let's confirm Cinder's dead here. Yeah. Okay. So
many questions.
I hope we can ask all of these questions to Jinn in due time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they ask a multi-part question next episode.
Yeah. Nora wanted to ask for more questions. That was a good thought too.
Yeah.
That would have been. It's not wishes. What? Okay. Who cares if it's wishes? Why does it make any? Why does it make any less or more sense? If it's wishes versus questions.
It's a naked genie.
I guess it can't grant a request. But why can't I have more questions?
But she's got infinite knowledge. It's not like she's going to use it all up.
I feel like you can manipulate an infinite knowledge question to have an effect on something. I feel like there's probably a way to phrase it. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you ask it hey, show me everybody in the world, and it just goes around. You can start writing down things about things it shows you or something.
I think that's our thought here. Is you just ask a really big thing that has a lot of answers. That's how you get more than 3 questions. Yeah,
because you just ask something super broad and let her show you everything about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because she seems to do that.
That's volume 7. We're just asking. It's entirely a question to Jinn, and then the entire volume is about.
I'd be fine with that.
Give me the history of the universe.
You would not be fine with that, John. That's actually what World of Remnants are. We're asking Jinn about the history of.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I actually, now that I said that, I fully expect there to be an in-show explanation for World of Remnants. Actually, that kind of makes sense.
It would make sense. I don't want it to come back, but it would make sense.
It makes sense in that it would be something this show would do. But they don't seem to be coming back. Okay, done with Jinn, done with that. Let's talk about. Let's go back to this pre-episode 1 scene first. We talked about it a little bit already, but very weird that the second scene we go to in this episode takes place before the previous episode. When we're back in the house. And they're taking the relic Atlas, and they outline their plan to go to Argus, and then they're just going to try to convince people to take them the Atlas from there.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that. Okay,
it makes more sense than just walking through the woods for a whole season.
Yes.
Yeah,
at least it's preferable to that.
And they've got Weiss, like they said. So when they said that, I want to see them do a weird acting skit where they're we've got her hostage. Take us to Atlas.
And Weiss does some bad acting, oh no,
that'd be good.
Let me free, please.
She'd be into that. Yeah, she says she's.
Yang would get very into character.
Yes. She says she's the ex-heiress. So that's a big moment for her character. My favorite sequence in the episode is Yang says, "But if there's a chance for reward money, I say we go for it." And then winks at Weiss. Yep. And then Weiss says, "Ugh," very flirty freezer burn.
Oh, they're so fun.
Yang winked at Weiss. It was incredible.
I don't know where this came from, because they had no chemistry before season 3, and now they're just so good together.
Now they're best friends.
They have maybe the most chemistry on that. I mean, not to be blasphemous to White Rose and Bumblebee, but there's a lot going on with the freaks.
I don't see them as romantic. I like them as platonic friends.
Yeah. How dare How dare you?
Well, it works though. It's good. They've got a good rapport happening.
It would be great if they were best friends while also in couples with the other two on the team. That would be
exactly.
obviously
That's the
acceptable.
ideal.
So
I'm fine as long as there's one gay relationship. I'm not picky.
Well, that's not happening yet. So that's we also just wrote off the only gay. We wrote off the only gay character in the show. So not looking great.
That's why I want to ask. That's why I want to ask Jinn who's gay. We need to know.
Please. Just please. Yeah, let's please ask that. I mean, that would be a great Miles and Kara are looking for in story ways in order to have queer relationships on the show.
Just
this is a great. This is a real. It's a real.
Redesign Ilya's entire outfit and then remove her.
Yeah,
Dylan. We asked that. We asked Jinn who's gay. And it just shows Ilya and no one else. That's it. That's all they show in the world.
Yep, that's what we expected. Okay, so that's what we thought, Jinn. Yeah. Okay. After that, within the explanation of the relic, which turned out to not be true. And then, what do we think of the sequence with Nora's very anime, humor sequence where she's bopping around everywhere? I guess that's all we have Nora here for anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of grating a little bit because it feels like that, they're definitely flanderizing her character. It just happens when you have a show. It just you start doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I wish she did a little bit more, but I also understand why she's not, because that means we'd have more John, and I don't want more John.
True.
Yeah. Of note, Team Njur was not in this episode, other than and they're in this pre-episode 1 scene, but there's a question of will Njur be separated from RWBY for long, or will
whole season? Just
right.
let them.
It seems at least for now they are separated.
Yeah,
well, that leads into
right away.
the guy was talking about. They're definitely going to show up later when Cinder finds the group again in 2 weeks' time. That's definitely what's going to happen.
Yeah, Cinder was looking for RWBY and Njur, both of them.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if they get hunted down. But it didn't seem like they're that interested in going after them. Anyway, let's talk about Cinder. Cinder's back. Hayley, big Cinder stan. What was it? Cinder. The first scene in this episode is her arising from the depths that she
I was
fell
so
into
happy.
You were excited?
I'm very excited because I didn't believe for a second that she was dead, and I don't think a lot of people did. Because, no, that wasn't happening. I was just so excited. And like I was saying earlier, I was, I knew she was coming back, but I was expecting maybe episode 5 she shows up. Because that's just what they do. They like to hurt you. But she showed up. It was great. And I was so happy about it. I like her little robe cloak outfit. That's fun. I'm really happy that she's back. I don't really know what her game plan is here. She seems to just be on the hunt as per usual. I would like her to have maybe more going on with her character and more things that we know about her, because right now it's just kind of she hates RWBY so much, and that's what's been propelling her character forward for so many seasons. So I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe we have more one-on-one scenes with her that develop her character and her personality more, so we get a bit more from her.
Yeah, it's a great point. What is she aiming to do here? Because I guess you would think, well, maybe the expectation is she wakes up and then she goes back to Salem. Like she's been under Salem's command.
She's still angry at RWBY. Other people have done bad stuff to her since then.
At least she's looking for RWBY plus all of her friends. Not just, she didn't just show a picture of RWBY. But she seems to be freelancing here against RWBY. It's not really clear. She could, maybe there's a twist and she hunts them down and then says, hey guys, I want to team up with you, instead of, it wasn't I want to kill them. I want to find these people.
I personally think she just wants to ask a question. I think Cinder wants the lantern and wants to ask something.
Oh, she wants to find the lantern.
Yeah, the lamp. Sorry.
That's probably part of it.
Doesn't matter. Okay. I mean, she could. Yeah, she
was there. What gives me hope that more is going to happen is based on the opening, because there's a couple scenes of her with other characters who might be exciting and doing things. So it seems to be like they're going to do something with her character. She's not just going to be roaming around trying to find them and then get defeated in a battle in the finale, because that would be disappointing.
Oh, no, that's definitely what's going to happen, because they have a separate timeline. That means she can't interact with our characters at all.
Yeah, so where did you read this?
Forward. Because
okay, hold on. Let's pause for a second. Yeah, so Cinder... Yeah. Okay. I don't. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what Cinder's aims are here. And as noted, Neo is hinted to be fighting Cinder in the opening. Mm-hmm. No sign of Neo this episode. So,
but if that happens in her storyline, that would be so cool.
Yeah,
I'd be so down for that.
Seems like that will happen. Although the intro could be lying. But
it'd be weird. That'd be just such a weird thing for them to include if they weren't going to deliver on it.
I think probably we'll see. That would be the ultimate fan teasing, is because Neo is inexplicably the most popular character in the show. So teasing her.
I don't understand. She doesn't do anything. She hasn't done anything.
Cool.
Like, I get that it's cool design, but she's done literally nothing.
I know, but she's amazing. For like the little bit that we saw her,
that one
awesome.
time, okay? And she fought her.
But Petty is awesome designed, and she's great. She does.
Everyone also loves
sassy and stuff. Like, I just love Neo.
Okay. Yeah. We're standing Neo. Don't attack us. We stand Neo too. Okay. So we're happy. We're excited to see her.
Neo and Cinder. Like, I guess right now, I was trying to think if Cinder's my favorite character right now on the show, and I don't know. I think Team RWBY as a unit and all of them always the top, but right after them, it's Cinder for me.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think Cinder's been. I like Cinder. I don't think she's been a particularly good character recently.
No,
that hurts her a little bit.
More development to happen. Yeah.
Weiss still number one character, obviously. I mean, come on.
Yes.
I love Blake though.
Well, no one. I don't think anyone's particularly stood out through 2 episodes. Individual member of the Team RWBY.
They've just all been great.
Yeah, them as a team greater than one of them standing out. Like we'd prefer that. In this first scene with Cinder, she's like coming out of the water. She comes out of the holding whatever structure there and breaks out of the cave, and then presumably attacks this woman that's trying to help her.
And steals her clothes.
Yeah.
For a second, I was like, "Are they going to fall in love?" But no. I did have a brief moment.
She had a really cool. She was a really cool background design. There was a bunch of cool faunus designs in the location and where she was later. Yeah, that was the background characters still are all way too good looking for no reason.
Everyone in the world is really attractive in 20s.
Everyone in this world is a hot 20-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. And then she's in this Mistral town, similar to the opening that we saw. What Andy's referring to is there's this news announcement to open the scene, and the poster says 1 month since the Haven attack. Mm-hmm. And in episode 1, Crow says that it's been two weeks since the Haven attack. So this would maybe imply that Cinder's storyline is taking place 2 weeks after the current RWBY storyline.
She probably wasn't in the water under the place for 2 weeks.
Well, I think Andy has something to say about that.
Okay, so they've done this already. They did this last season when Blake was in Menagerie.
Last season Menagerie was taking place in a different timeline than everyone else.
And then it didn't even matter, really. It really didn't.
Yes, it didn't. But the thing is, I'm fine with plots like this. They can be really well done. The problem is you have to really care about the person who separate on their own timeline because they have to be alone the whole time. They can't interact with anybody else. And I do not believe that Cinder can do this. We showed that Blake is great, but she cannot support a whole plot by herself on Menagerie every single episode. And they're setting up Cinder to do the exact same thing. It's really strange because they keep saying they're learning from their mistakes, but this is the exact same thing they did last season, and it was the worst part of last season. Didn't they learn that? I think
if we surround Cinder by interesting characters like Neo and all of them, it'll be good. I think it was because Blake was in an environment that wasn't exciting.
So Andy, your frustrations are that Cinder cannot carry it. You think this is indicative of a long-term plot line? Yes. Cinder alone.
And the thing is, Blake was in a place that should have been interesting. That's my point. Blake was in a plot that should have been good.
Blake, a better character than Cinder, and also was surrounded with better people than presumably Cinder will be. And,
but Gear and all them, they're
she had Sun and Ilya, right?
That's Sun, Ilya. She had an antagonist that was clear, and she had her family. It should have been a plot that at least made sense and was fun to watch, but it was just long and drawn out. Now Cinder's alone with no other characters that we know about, and maybe Neo will show up, maybe someone else will show up, but that's all we know for sure. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think I want to watch Cinder wandering around in the woods like we watched watch Ranger wander around in the woods for a whole season. I don't want to see that, because I don't care. We like we talked about, Salem is moving towards we're understanding why she's doing things. We have no idea why Cinder's doing anything, and I am convinced we will not learn why Cinder's doing anything until she meets up with the other main cast. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to spend a whole season with Cinder just wandering around doing nothing and we don't know why she's doing it. We did this a season ago and it was horrible.
Okay.
We just
did, but we're moving faster.
Okay, calm down.
So
calm down.
We're moving a lot faster this season already, as we've seen. So I'm hoping that if this happens, she'll catch up to the main storyline quicker than in seasons past.
But that would require we have a time skip in the current season, which would be good. We could just skip
last season we made up the time by the traveling. We skipped the traveling. Yeah. So okay, I understand your frustrations, Andy. I think you are justified in being worried about this because some sort of time difference would indicate it would take a while to make up for that. But I actually think your pessimism is unwarranted here. I think there's not really much reason to believe that this will be more than a 3 episode separation.
I have been burned before by this show.
That's always a fair response. We cannot expect them to do the. I think all indications this season, though, that you think the storyline has not enough legs to carry an entire season, and we're already moving fast. So I think those two things would lead me to believe this is I would say between 2 and 5 episode.
If it shows up as a B plot every now and then, not every episode.
Right, I don't even think it's going to be every episode. I think it's like a B plot of maybe 2 more episodes.
That would be fine. Like, that's fine. We need some B plots going around. Like,
that's
I don't want
there
it
on
to
a
go
B
into
plot
like
too.
Yes, if Cinder gets a B plot story, like, Tyrion better get a. He better
stop irrationally standing Tyrion, Andy. Stop. You're losing credibility.
His tail. I need to see his tail.
Like nothing.
Jinn, what is Tyrion's tail? I really need to know. Okay, Jinn, does zombie Pyrrha, is that a thing? We thought that was gonna be a thing. This episode has a character coming back from the dead. Is Pyrrha next? You know, like is that like everyone comes? Is Roman? Please, like
is
please,
Jenna come alive?
Yeah, that's also probably not. Jinn, why is Adam still a character? Why didn't you kill him yet? Okay. Anyway. So I thought it was a pretty good plot here, though, this episode. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was fine for this one episode.
Yeah. As a unit, this is fine. I'm just really worried that they're going to make the same mistakes here.
Okay, so
Cinder that's not irrational.
Well, yeah, worrying about RWBY making mistakes
as
a show is not irrational. No. Cinder's in this Mistral town and meets Little Miss Malachite, new character here.
Little Miss Muffet, if you're into that.
So you think she's little? Oh, because she's because
yeah, and she's got like a little thing of
this is look. People comment a lot about me disparaging talking about the fairy tales. This is why I don't like talking about the fairy tales. That's so stupid. That's so stupid.
Is. I think Salem is also like Rapunzel because she's in a tower.
Yeah, that might be that. We'll see. We need more details, but yeah, that's probably a thing. Yeah, okay, so Malachite, they're the Malachite twins in, like, season 1, and maybe, I don't remember, of the show, so is she their mom, is she their aunt, who cares?
I'm Googling that, because I have no memory of them.
Malachite twins, iconic, they're who cares? So what do we think of Little Miss Malachite, Hayley? Did you like her?
No.
Okay, moving on. No,
okay, wait. Okay, I may have found the Malachite twins. Yeah, very little memory. No, I didn't like her. She seems like an annoying character and like she's going to get a lot of screen time for no reason. And she just bugged me. I don't even know why. She just bugged me.
She doesn't seem like a good person, so there's that.
Yeah, well, no, because I like Cinder and I love
she's antagonizing Cinder.
Villainous characters are like my favorite characters in shows, but she just seemed annoying. So,
okay. Yeah. And Andy, any stronger of a reaction?
No, I just didn't like her. She just seemed seemed like the trope of a character, and the things she said were kind of interesting. It's interesting that someone else is looking for Team RWBY, but herself, she's just kind of boring. And also, her whole thing didn't make sense. She said like, "Hey, I made this. I like just." What did she say? I made friends with the spiders or something like that.
Yeah.
That it hand to all the members of her crew.
They're working for her now. She says, "I was afraid of spiders. Now they work for me."
But is she saying she's scared of every single person who has that tattoo?
Yes.
It was symbolic, Andy. It was about, she was, these are like, it's either a gang or an intelligence network, and she was like afraid of these types of people in power, and so instead of she made the people in power work for her, that was my interpretation of that scene.
That's a long walk for a metaphor.
It's a metaphor,
was a lot.
Andy.
I think she drove me nuts because she refers to herself as Little Miss. I didn't like that.
I don't get that.
That was
silly. The female one asks the one next to ask her Lil Miss. Yes. Like that's a first name. Like that's her first name of Lil Miss.
Yeah.
Also, her
I
title,
think they went too over the top with the whole fairy tale thing. It was a little much, and I didn't like her design. Like I like
just criticizing all aspects of Lil Miss. Okay, I am since you guys hate her, I am forced to stan her. So I guess. What Queen, Lil Miss Queen, like, just boss all these, spider people, you're queen of the gang, in charge,
she wasn't cool, she was just like,
look, I thought she's fine, we'll see what she does, she was fine, it was not, if she's a season-long character, I'm gonna get tired of her, but this was okay.
I just realized we're probably, since we had that long shot of all the people with the tattoos, we're probably going to have a scene where we talk to somebody, and then at the end of it, we, the audience, are going to see they have a spider tattoo. Like, that's definitely going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
Much more interested in blue and green eye twin spider tattoos that we saw in the background for like one shot. They were more cooler than Lil Miss. So, I just realized that the spider people have not found Team RWBY yet, because that was also in the future. That somebody came before Cinder to talk to her. Oh, yeah, that's the implications of that being in the future. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, we don't want to get into that. Yeah, okay. And Little Miss Malachite has the two purple-dressed people around her. We know from the trailer that there's a purple team. Like, it seems like it's like a school team of people are calling them purple, PURPL, they're close to be spider. But yeah, there's two of the team members here with them. So I don't know what that's about, but that's also a thing. My implication was that the spider was an intelligence, like a spy network, but it could be a gang. Could be.
I thought it was closer to a gang, but yeah.
I think it's an intelligence gang.
Intelligence gang. She's the little finger, basically. That's which is cool. I like that kind of character. So I'm intrigued by Little Miss Malachite, but we'll see what we do with her. And Cinder asked them to find Team RWBY, and Hazel. Apparently, Hazel already asked them about that. Says big guy, so I assume that's Hazel. And Tyrion maybe was Tyrion with Hazel. I don't know, because Hazel left separately after the attack last season.
I'm saying Tyrion better
meets up with them.
Yeah, I think she would have said the guy with a robot.
Oh, hey, remember that guy with a giant weird robot tail? Yeah, that would have been a good way to learn about it.
That would be the identifying feature rather than just a tall man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Also, that nuts guy who just is super weird. How about that one?
Yeah, forgot about him.
Yeah. Who might be, and then he says, who might be asking about her? About Cinder, which no one, because people think she's dead, except if Neo's following her, then Neo might ask them.
She's on a wanted poster.
She's on a wanted poster. Why don't they assume she's dead? Like, no one thinks she's dead? She's just assumed alive?
The bigger thing is, if she's on a wanted poster, and this is a gang, and they want to get stuff on her, why don't they just hand her in? She probably has a bounty on her head. I don't get her motivations.
Yeah, we'll see. I have no answer. We'll find out what Little Miss Malachite's motivations are.
Oh, Little Miss, gosh.
Little Miss, why is she? Yeah, we'll see. Well, I guess it is just
Little Miss Muppet.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Just God.
So stupid. See, you can't stand her.
I didn't even think about it because I try not to, but no, I don't. I don't like the tie-in. She's on her own. I don't blame her. She's not at fault.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. And with Vernal before we knew she wasn't the maiden.
Vernal was turned out to be a good plot device. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't think Little Miss Muppet's gonna have the same.
I don't. We'll see. She was a stronger introduction than Vernal. Come on. Stronger. Okay. Hayley. Anything else from the episode or final thoughts here?
No, I think we covered everything. I'm just excited. In general, I think I agree with you, Dylan, that this, at least from what I can remember right now, this seems like the best episode 1 and 2 of any season so far, because we're actually getting explanations for things, or the possibility of explanations for things, and the team's back together, and I think the dynamics between them are really great right now, and Cinder's back and could have a neat storyline. So overall, I have no clue where the season's going. Like, maybe we end up in Atlas, maybe not. I don't know. But right now, I'm happy with it. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm happy with it. That's all we can ask for.
In this moment, I am happy.
Nice. Andy, final thoughts.
My only really thoughts on stuff we haven't covered yet are that I don't know why Maria's here right now, why it was so important she got thrust into the group dynamic right now, because she literally just did nothing after she introduced herself. Like, I think she was literally not in a couple of the shots. Like, they just scrubbed her out of them because she just wasn't important. But also, we're having these arguments in front of her, so she knows about all this stuff now. Is she in the vision with the Jinn, or is she just gone? She was not shown, but maybe she is. Yeah. No, we don't care apparently about telling Maria all these secrets that no citizen knows about. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm getting increasingly worried that we have all these plot threads going around, and we're not really. And we're touching on some really important ones, but some of the other ones are being just kind of tossed into the air for who knows how long.
Nothing new there.
Yeah. So, but it's just the normal RWBY fear of plot stuff, I guess. I don't know.
But for now, it's fine. So
yeah, for now it's
We're
fine.
Actually doing something.
To be fair, these 2 episodes are good. This is good. I'm just getting increasingly concerned, but that's just going to happen every episode, I think.
Okay. We'll see what Andy rants about timelines next time.
I don't like timelines like this, Dylan. They're not
I don't like timelines. Okay. Noted. Okay. Final segment, new segment here on the podcast to close out. This is the RWBY Ombudsman Corner. What did we get wrong last week? So you tell us in the comments what we got wrong. And if it's true, I will compliment you for calling me out on getting something wrong the following week. Okay. So first I want to start with something no one called me out on getting wrong. So you all need to try harder, because sometimes I say wrong things and you don't even notice. The guard on the train was Adam. It was not a random white person that Blake saw.
We got on that on the podcast.
Yeah, we
maybe that's why people didn't correct. Yeah, maybe that's why people didn't correct me. But I did not realize it, so you didn't call me out enough. So I apologize for not getting the black trailer reference. Happened like 7 years ago. Okay, and then the things we didn't apparently got wrong. The Bucket movie points out 2 things. RWBY in Volume 4 carried Nora in her semblance, so the Weiss thing was not the first time.
No memory of that, so sorry.
Yeah, because we blocked out Volume 4, so expect more Volume 4 incorrect statements. And then Buck movie also points out Weiss's granddad has a red scarf like Weiss had in A World of Remnant. I don't think that's really a thing we got wrong. It's more just that it also could have been referring to that, but please don't bring up World of Remnant in the comments.
I don't like to say that I don't care, because that means it's not gay. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't think it fits her motivations. I think it being Ruby's scarf fits her motivations more. She was trying to get away from her family. Yeah. I think that anyway. So I expect us to get more things wrong about World of Remnants in Volume 4, because those are the things I will remember the least. But I'm gonna make a bold cut. I don't think I got anything wrong this podcast. I'm probably gonna regret saying that, but I don't think I got anything wrong.
Everyone's gonna.
I've challenged you to correct me. I don't think I got nothing wrong.
That is such a brave thing to say.
Tell me why I was wrong about Jinn and her being naked. Like that, you can't be wrong about that, right? Like, what could I have been wrong about? So. These are all okay. So we'll see.
Someone's going to come in and say she has a skin tight bodysuit, Dylan. Obviously,
yeah.
I mean,
that belt was covering up so much.
What was the belt holding up? What's it holding up? Okay,
it wasn't. It was them. They lingered on that scene for so long to be like, look, she isn't totally naked. She's wearing a belt.
I don't know.
That's what it was.
Okay, so let us know in the comments what we got wrong. I
don't know about this we stuff. You're the one who put this forward.
Oh, please also correct Andy and Haley. Please do that.
Let me know.
I mean, probably it's me though. If you guys said something wrong, it's my job to point it out. So ultimately, it would fall back on me. But we'll see. Everything that we corrected last time was about me anyway. But yeah, youtube.com/overlyanimated or overlyanimated.com, and you can click on the RWBY article for this podcast and comment there. You can also talk with us on our Discord, overlyanimated.com/Discord. We have a RWBY channel going, and you can support us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Shin, aka Shingeki no Kyojin. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. Also, special request, since we've been getting a lot of love on my Tumblr and in the comments about how you guys are enjoying the coverage. Please, there's a lot of hate, so thank you for the positive comments. But can you please go leave a positive review on our RWBY iTunes feed, because there's a lot of negative reviews there.
Yeah,
so
from early on.
There's the specific RWBY one with the Ruby's weapon on as the image. So leave some 5-star reviews there. That'll help balance out. And maybe because people aren't going to check it out if they see the negative ratings. So that'd be beneficial. Thank you if you do that. And I think that's it. Check out other stuff at overlyanimated.com, including we got Miraculous Ladybug finale coverage coming up. We had Craig of the Creek. We had Castlevania, DuckTales, all of that at overlyanimated.com. We'll be back for episode 3 of volume 6 next week. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
# I hate timelines.
That's bad hashtag stuff.